Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to a new installment of Lyles Figure Files. I'm going to talk about all the really cool reveals and the exciting new pre orders that Hasbro showed off as part of their Marvel Legends live stream. But I wanted to shout out everybody who's making me super jealous, posting their pictures of their HasLab Sentinel. I decided I'm going to show off my Sentinels too. Quack, quack. I've got my Marvel Legends Series 10 Sentinels. These guys still hold up pretty well. I was actually impressed as I was dragging them off of the shelf and I was like, yo, these guys stand up pretty well. Their paint job looks amazing. I almost think with the level of detail in the sculpt work, they actually compare pretty nicely with those House of X figures, with the Cyclops, Magneto, Professor X, Wolverine with that weird smile, Jean Grey, and Moira McTaggart. I think they actually play off pretty well with these guys. And I'm going to have to work them into a display with them soon. I've also got this Marvel Universe version from Hasbro. This was when they were like, yo, let's make all our figures have sound effects. These super tall guys. Yo, he's actually got more sound effects, more sound quotes than that. I just wanted to show it off because I think that's always a really cool feature that as long as it doesn't mess up with anything, any articulation, I'm always down for the sound chips because it's like that just adds something fun to me. I still have that bass from the movie, the original Fantastic Four that we kind of sort of don't talk about anymore, where Chris Evans slash Captain America was playing Johnny Storm, and you plug it into the bass, and it actually says "Flame On." The "Flame On" flame part still works. The sound effect still works. It was a really inventive way to play off the Human Torch's powers, but I like that. So I'm always down for cool sound effects. None of which you cared about because you wanted to see all these cool reveals that Hasbro laid on us today. So first off, we're getting some pre-orders out of the way. So for all of us smucks who still don't have the Pulse Premium membership, we're going to have to wait until 2 o'clock to get our grubby pre-order hands on this amazing Excalibur set. And this one is featuring Shadowcat, Captain Britain, and Megan. They all look amazing. I don't really care about the bearded version of Captain Britain. This guy is the Alan Davis version of the character that I've really wanted in my collection. I've always thought that outfit looked cool. I really like the thigh high boots. I thought that was just a cool look for a hero. We don't really see that. That was definitely not the norm in the 80s at that time. And I think that's still not necessarily a design choice that you see a lot of artists do. But I just thought it looked cool with a guy who was like Superman build in the X-Men Marvel Universe set to just kind of have that. Got the UK all over the outfit. I just like it. He's also got Excalibur. Megan and Shadowcat both have separate fists or swappable fists. Shadowcat also has Lockheed. I really hope this picture's to scale because I need a tiny kitty hanging next to Aurora, Peter, Kurt, and Wolverine for my classic 80s Nightcrawler, or 80s Nightcrawler, my 80s version of the X-Men. I do want Colossus with that vest outfit. Actually, Colossus had those thigh highs, so I don't know what that was about with the X-Men characters rocking those thigh highs, but Colossus was rocking those with his outfit too. Maybe they'll be reused from this Captain Britain. But I really like this set. It's really cool. Dwight mentioned now we need to get to Rachel. This is not the first time he said, yeah, Rachel needs to come too so we can complete Excalibur, at least the original group. That leads me to believe that Rachel is coming very, very soon, or Rachel if you pronounce her properly. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to adding these guys to the collection because they serve multiple purposes for me in my collection. So definitely looking forward to getting these guys. The Scroll is also coming out tomorrow. This one I'm really excited about for a couple reasons because I can see myself army building a rack of scrolls because they don't typically, unless you're Brian Michael Bendis, have all kinds of superpowers. They're just a bunch of grunts with guns. They can change their shape, but that's about it. And you can have them fight anyone from the Fantastic Four to the X-Men to the Avengers, probably more likely, and eventually, hopefully, Kree, who can battle these guys as well. And we can have a Kree Skrull / Avengers war going on in all of our displays. So really looking forward to seeing that. But I am very curious to see what the price point of these guys is going to be. One of the main selling points for these army builder figures was the stripped down packaging. So it wasn't pretty. It's just a simple box, a bag. Here's your figure. No wasted plastic, no nothing, no bells and whistles with anything. And that cut the price point down to $5. Since we've been seeing these figures go up to 22 and 23 in some cases, I'm wondering if that means these army builders are going to be $17 now. I still don't think that's a bad or terrible price point. We're not getting a Build-A-Figure piece, but we are getting at least an alternate head and an alternate weapon. So I don't think that's too bad a price point. And I'd still army build for 17. If it's 19, that may be a bit tougher since I know how much cheaper those other army builders were. The Hydra's agents, the AIM guys, and the Hellfire Club. And these hand ninjas, which I don't care about, but I really hope that if they can stay around that 17 price point, I'm going to at least get 10 of these guys, because I need them to flank my Super Skrull, and I need enough to make the Avengers go, oh, okay, we got a threat here with these Skrulls. Speaking of S.H.I.E.L.D., because I had just randomly blurted out earlier, we also got the S.H.I.E.L.D. pack, and this one I am very excited about because there's 5 possible portraits with 2 figures, meaning we're going to need to get at least 3 sets of these guys. I won't complain because of all of the different army building options. I don't need to have 20-30 S.H.I.E.L.D. members, but it's nice to have different guys flanking Nick Fury, Sharon Carter, and I just hope at some point we've got a Dum Dum Dugan coming, because it's kind of weird that we had that one way back when Hasbro was kind of thinking maybe we can dip back into these Marvel Legend figures, and they released one with a tiny head. But these guys look really good. They've got lots of weapons, and like I said before, I really dig all of the different racial portraits we've got. So we've got racial portraits. Let's try that a different way. We've got portraits of characters with different ethnic backgrounds. There we go. I like the way that sounds a lot better. So anyway, we've got different options here, and I just love the abilities to mix and match, and that's going to make for a really cool display. I'm saying I'm probably not going to have 10, but I kind of think with all of these options, and then just the ability to put on different heads from different 6-inch scale figures, that could work out pretty well for a nice S.H.I.E.L.D. army. So that could be fun. Now onto the reveals section. We got a bunch of Spider-Man retro figures. In the live stream, Ryan Ting said, yo, I bet you guys, no, yo was more dance thing. So that was not how Ryan started. But Ryan was saying, you guys probably won't believe this, and it was shocking to me, but we've done more retro Spider-Man figures than any other set, like more than the Avengers, more than the X-Men. I'm like, yeah, you guys have, but it's okay because the Spider-Man figures have mostly been really well done, and I've gotten a lot of these guys. Now the first one we saw, courtesy of Jay Hernandez with a breakdown, really good job of selling it. I looked at my symbiote Spider-Man and was like, darn it, I am going to have to get this one because this is definitely and clearly a substantial upgrade. And I don't have to worry about the red and blue pins sticking out on this guy because it's all black, so it's not an issue here. But they've made sure to include different hands. We've got the wall crawling, we've got the fist, we've got the web slinging, web shooting, whichever way you want to go with that. That's a nice plus. And I was also thinking we've got that Kraven 2-pack. This one's a little bit bulkier than that smaller symbiote Spider-Man. So if you wanted to, I'm sure this is going to be the default for most people anyway, but if you want to keep that old one and just wanted to get this new figure, you could probably pop that Kraven head on this body and have a bulkier Kraven the Hunter in the symbiote Spider-Man look. And then you could have him face off against your Peter Parker and symbiote Spider-Man look. I don't know. I think I may try that just to see what it looks like just for kicks, but I'm really going to make this my default one. So looking forward to adding this one to the collection. What I'm not so much excited about is this Hobgoblin for a couple reasons. I've never really loved that head sculpt. I think it looks just a tiny bit small with the way the cape flares up. But there's no scales on this figure. And I know the Hasbro team was like, this is how it was in the cartoon, so you can't complain. I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. But it just seems a little, I don't know, plain without those scales, which earlier with the Green Goblin was a really huge selling point. Like, yo, Dread Knight, Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Black Knight all have scales now, and they're sculpted. And I was like, that is so cool. That's a great selling point that makes these figures look even better. So going the opposite direction, even if it's cartoon accurate, seems like a step back for me. But, you know, I think there'll be a lot of people excited who missed out on Hobgoblin earlier that won't mind the lack of scales. So for all of you, I'm really happy that you get a shot at what is a pretty good figure and definitely an iconic version of a Spider-Man villain. So next up is Ben Reilly, Spider-Man. Now this guy's coming back in the comics because apparently Marvel hates all of us who like things to stay the same. So Peter Parker's out and Ben Reilly is back. And he's also back with red pins. Boo hiss. Yeah, so this is the real wacky situation. So they've been touting these pinless joints. And Spider-Man is a character that I think 99.97, if my number and my math is correct, have been excited about, because no pinless joints means no weird red on blue and blue on red that we've seen so many times with the Spider-Man figures. And it's going to be weird to buy a figure late into 2021. We've got so many figures that don't have, or that do have pinless joints, going back to the pinless joints for a Spider-Man figure and still having this old age issue. The arms don't have it because, hey, they're blue, but going into those shins, it really stands out. And it's something that I wish that Hasbro had fixed before getting to it. At first, I wasn't that excited about this reveal, but then I looked on my shelf and realized, hey, I still don't have a Ben Reilly Spider-Man. I really wish they had also added another portrait so we could have that blonde lock Ben Reilly version of Spider-Man, but this is okay, and I'm sure I can make use of one of those old Human Torch figures or Johnny Storm figures to go with that old school look for Ben. Next up is my favorite probably of the entire set. Hammerhead, classic villain. They gave him the Happy Hogan buck, which is a newer, broader suit body, which was needed because a lot of the suit figures were kind of slender, probably too slender in most cases. This is the brawny, burly kind of guy. Hammerhead was not slender. I like the idea, and I thought it was really well executed with that chameleon set because he could just blend in and it made sense for him to just do that. But now we've got an appropriate sized Hammerhead. This guy looks great. The head sculpt is just capturing him looking like he's about to go off on somebody. Comes with a baseball bat so he can go off on somebody. And I really like the way they did this guy. He's got the pinstripes. He's holding a bat. And he's also got brass knuckles, which I think I also have a photo of that has hurt on there or heart on there. Something. One of the two. But, I mean, if the Hammerhead, if the bat isn't enough, the dude also has brass knuckles, which for some reason I think is just a cool extra touch. So we've got a big guy to fight Spider-Man. I am hoping we get some pulse army builders of random suit guys or just basic goons, so we can have somebody for Kingpin and Hammerhead and all the other mob style characters, Mr. Negative, to boss around and fight against an army, against Spider-Man, Punisher, Daredevil, etc. Next up is the Web of Spider-Man 100 edition Armored Spider-Man. I like this guy. I've always thought this was a cool look. The black and silver, definitely a unique look for Spider-Man. It's kind of got this stylized look, so it's a little modern. So you see all the texturing in the black portions. Definitely not the classic comic book style in that sense, but I guess it still works. I really just like that combination. It looks so sharp and it really gets your attention, right? Definitely not the typical Spider-Man. But the coolest part about this figure is it actually has some new web effects. It's not the same old web effects we've gotten in the past. Wink, wink. But these look really cool, and I'm so glad we finally got some web, accessories for Spider-Man, because it's like they've done 70 Spider-Man figures at this point, and we still don't have any web accessories until now. Really think this is cool. So looking forward to adding that into the collection. He poses up really nice, and I'm just looking at the way these sculpted elements are, and I'm kind of wondering, maybe we should see, or we could see, some team up partnerships with the G.I. Joe Classified Series team. And this could be a way that we can get a Flash and Grand Slam a little bit faster, because I definitely see some reuse possibilities, at least from the lower leg section. And if they can figure out a way to coat over that spider that is sculpted on there. But yeah, I'm always thinking of how the G.I. Joe Classified Series can get more figures, because I shockingly want more figures out of that line. But yeah, this Spider-Man looks really cool. Looking forward to getting this guy. We're going to keep that waffle pattern going with the new version of Shocker. I got the Thunderbolt / Fearsome Foes edition of Shocker. You can see him here. He was definitely here's my Hasbro version. I still had that Toy Biz one, and I just tried this out not that long ago, where you had that special effect or action feature where you twist the dial and he vibrates and shakes a little. It's one of those like wacky action features that actually works, and it still works. And I was surprised, because I figured at some point those action features would just break because some mechanism doesn't work. But they actually built that stuff to last back in the day. So that was really impressive. Just as impressive is this take on old Herman. And the quilt pattern on his outfit looks great. The vibration forearm pieces look good. I'm okay with the effects being reused, because I think it kind of works for him. But I definitely think we need to get some new effect pieces, because I feel like I got 30 of these at this point. 30 of these at this point. Yes, that's the better way to say that too. And yeah, so I'm of course looking forward to getting this guy. I just think they did a really nice job. He's one of those figures where his design is pretty simple and just do it right. And we've had to wait a very long time, but they pulled it off. And I think that's been kind of the norm for a lot of these Marvel Legend figures. Just like that Storm from Giant Size X-Men. We wait, and we finally get it. And it's like, thank you. This is what we wanted. Excuse me. So yeah, I really like the way this guy turned out. So all these guys go for pre-order tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I don't think these are locked into Pulse, where you have to wait until 2 p.m. really. I think these will be up for everybody at 1 o'clock. I will add the links to the video and to LylesMovieFiles.com if you're so inclined. So next up, we have the latest set of retro figures. This set I wasn't as excited about as the Spider-Man figures, so this will be another set I don't get many of these, at least from what we've seen so far. First up was Falcon. It's not the classic one that I'm still not so patiently waiting for at this point. This is a repaint of the Joe Fix-It one. It looks okay. I couldn't place where this outfit was from. Hopefully some of you all can help me on that. Figure looks good. Nice candy apple red. The wings are a little less translucent, but they still look cool. I'd like to see them just be one piece, but I understand the limitations with the articulation, so it's kind of what we have to deal with. And I do like when it's set up like that, where you can't see that they're two separate wing pieces. Still no red wing, but pretty decent job on this figure. Like, again, if this was one that you missed out on earlier, great, because I think this is a really well done, well executed figure. Nice modern take on Falcon, so you can finally retire that Toy Biz one if you missed out on the first Joe Fix-It figure from Hasbro. But really nice job. Next up is Loki. So I got this guy, and I feel like he was part of that wave too, maybe. was really excited to get the classic Loki, and Hasbro was like, yo, let's go back and revisit him, and let's pump him out in this one. We'll give him a new head sculpt just to mix it up a bit. And this is one of those deals where I kind of feel like you got screwed over if you bought the first version. He comes with 2 daggers instead of this really nice I have the power style sword that the Loki came with at first. Daggers are nice. They fit in with Loki's whole motif, and they also revisited the classic head sculpt from that first figure, so you get a bonus of 2 head sculpts. That's nice if you missed out. Not so nice if you bought the first one. It's one of those deals where I kind of feel like sometimes you get screwed over by just trying to be a good team player and buying the figures that come out, where if you didn't really want a version of a character, but just like, I gotta get this figure because who knows, the line may end and I might never get this version from this company. I'm thinking now that Hasbro has reached the point where I don't have to worry about that, but it's still one of those deals where it's like, I don't want to get burned and miss out on not ever having a figure. But I think they're starting to get me close where I'm like, all right, I'll just hold out to the version I want. Next up is the Lady Loki version, and I think this is being revisited also because of Loki, the Disney Plus series. This one came in that A-Force set. It was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but then you could find it, or maybe it was a Toys R Us exclusive. Gee, remember them? I still miss Toys R Us. Anyhow, but this figure was one of those from that set. I was like, oh, this really is a well done figure. Do I need to buy that whole set for her and Monica Rambeau? And I never did. I don't know if I want to get this figure now, but for all of you guys who decided that set was too expensive, what am I going to do with all these other figures? Now you don't have to worry about it. You can just get this figure. So I think it works out pretty well for you. So Hasbro's team also teased a few things coming up in 2022. So the first clue was there will be a Legend 6-inch figure without legs. I don't think this time there's going to be as much riding in the collective action figure streets as it was when we got Cannonball, because I feel like there is only one obvious choice here, which means it probably won't be, but it's got to be old boy Bonebreaker from the Reavers, right? I mean, it's got to be him. Reapers. I've been watching Walking Dead and I'm getting messed up now. They're screwing me all over. So we've got a few of these, or one of these guys right now. Got Cole's head, but we need to get a couple more of these guys. Pretty Boy just seems too easy not to be made at any point in time. So getting Bonebreaker will give us another one of those really iconic members of that crew of metal miscreants that harass and plunder and raid and just cause all kinds of problems for the X-Men. Next up, there will be another Legend 6-inch scale figure on the oversized Spider-Man Toy Biz blister card. I feel like we've seen this figure kind of running around online already, but I get to plug myself for a change. I think it's going to be a 6-inch blister card version of Rhino, which is exciting for everyone who did not invest and get the Build-A-Figure Rhino. I'm not so sure if this is the best strategy to kind of go, all right, all you people that got the Build-A-Figure, got all the figures, and in some cases the figures you did not want or care about, to get this Build-A-Figure, now here's the reward for all of you guys who waited. I mean, there is a window, of course, I guess it makes sense, but it does kind of feel like it's a burn if you've already gotten a figure. But I guess if you cared about more of them, the Build-A-Figure is free anyway. So, anyway, last up, there will be at least 2 characters who have never appeared in Toy Biz or Hasbro Legends 6-inch lines who were also featured in Marvel Universe Series 2 card set. I keep meaning to pull out my Marvel Universe card set because I was an avid collector of this line, and they would be fun to revisit them anyway. But now that Ryan has shown that he loves dipping into that for figures, I need to pull this out so I can just revisit it and see what possible figures are coming up down the line. But my guess for this one that I'm thinking really stands a pretty decent chance is Sorry. It's not you, Banshee, because, Hasbro doesn't love you, dude. Sorry, just go sit back in the corner or something, I guess, and we'll just sit and wonder when we can ever get you a 6-inch figure from Hasbro in the 2020s. But yeah, not you. Thinking it's going to be some combination of Marvel Boy, Speedball, and Namorita. We've got Firestar. We've got Nova, not Kid Nova. Maybe some of you have. Maybe you've stumbled into a Walgreens that actually stocked Nova. I still haven't found him yet, but he is out. We got Night Thrasher. This would complete our New Warriors, one of my favorite teams from the 90s, and just overall one of my favorite teams. I wish we could get a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, because I think these guys would work so well in that context, and I think they'd be really fun, just, as a team that is totally different than what we've seen before. I think this could be a decent way to spin Nova out, especially since they're not going with the Annihilation route anytime soon. This would be a good way to introduce him. So lots of things there, lots to digest, lots of stuff to save our money for in pre-orders. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on and how easy figures will be to get tomorrow. But yeah, I was excited about this one. And as always, the Marvel Universe team just knocks out their live stream. There's always stuff to be excited about and things to be jealous about, right? I mean, there's always something like that. And with that, this episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed. Thanks for watching.